Hello and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea, and today I will be sharing with you more information I've received from a 25th dimension during my last BQH session, Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis session. The hypnotist was Lorrayne, and she'll be asking me questions I prepared in advance of the session. I'll be reading from the transcript of it. So when I refer to me, I'm talking about myself under hypnosis, which means the answers are coming from the 25th. Before we move forward, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And also please do give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment below to let me know, either just to say hi, which is totally fine, I love that, or to tell me what you're experiencing, because the world is crazy right now. And so I would love to see what that looks like in your world. You'll see from a lot of my questions, the fact that, they're answering questions that are coming from the fact that I am going through some weird stuff. If stuff feels weird in some way. So I'm sure this is happening to more than just me. So please share. All right, so I'm going to start reading here. Lorrayne. So Clea has another question in regards to the 12,000. How are other incarnations different from twin flames, who are essences that have done our same work and help us with a project? And before I read the answer, I just want to explain this question. So and you can refer to my last video to get the preamble to this, so you know why I'm even asking this question. Basically, the 25th has told us that each light worker, so we hear about the 144,000. In reality, they've told us there are only 12,000 individual essences that are embodying up to 12 bodies each, and that's where we get the number 144,000. And so they've told us that these other 11 incarnations of you, if you're one of the 12,000, are you, basically. But they had explained to us about twin flames before, where they said, you're working on the same project or that kind of thing. So I'm asking, what's the difference then? What's the difference between a twin flame and one of your other 11 incarnations? And here's the answer. So they're not different in terms of working on something together, because we've explained that a twin flame might be somebody that you decided you were going to work on something together with. But it is different in the sense of one of the 12,000, one of your other 12 incarnations is you. Like, it's even more you than anybody else. It's really you. You move on as one. It's almost the example that I was saying earlier when you said on New Earth, if you feel like it and you want to view your essence in some make-believe projected bodies, you can. You can pretend that you're splitting and then be like, oh, how weird, it is me. That's me. And they were laughing here. They do have a great time with these questions, I have to say, because to them it's so obvious, and to us, we're like, oh, what's happening? All right. And so in that sense, it's even more you, more so than a twin flame, because it truly is you. It's almost like when we said, Source is playing with the two hands. You realize this is you and you become one. You're like, you do this, right? And all of a sudden you're back to yourself. So it's more than just working on the same project. It's that everything that you have learned, it's incorporated. Remember, we said one thing on New Earth will know everything. Everything everybody has gone through. Everything that's been absorbed by the collective. Everything that's been experienced by anyone within the collective will be absorbed by the entire collective. However, just because we know something intellectually doesn't mean we're going to be able to integrate it, because the person that has had the experience, they've also had the time to think about it and recalibrate. You get it as a breakthrough, etc., but you might still need to work through it, okay? Of course, it's not the same as going through it like the person went through it, but you're still going to, just because, again, you know it, doesn't mean you're going to be able to recalibrate it in a second. When it comes to the 12, the work that each one has done has already been done. When you absorb it, you don't have to calibrate it. It's already been integrated. That is the difference. A twin flame, while it's working on the same project with you, so you're kind of learning the same lesson, or you're working on the same lesson, or you're working on the same experience, or whatever it is, you're still separate in that sense. We use the word separate to explain the concept. There is no separation in reality. But you're still separate in that sense, because if this person has had certain experiences, and said this person was going to New Earth with you, you would absorb their experience, but you might still have to calibrate it. You might still have to integrate it. This person might have killed somebody for all you know. You will still have to integrate that. Whereas if this is one of your 12 incarnations, you don't have to do any integration work. It's already been integrated. It's you. I don't have to do the integration work of what I already integrated in this lifetime as Clea. I don't have to do it. I've already done it. I don't have to go back and relearn the same lessons again. I've already done it. So say that if you, Lorraine, were one of the 12 of my 12 incarnations, I don't have to relearn what you learned. I don't have to deal with absorbing, integrating, understanding what you already learned. The second we come back to one, it's integrated. Like I've already done it. You're me. I've already done it. I've already done the work. Whereas on New Earth, if we are separate, meaning that you're not one of my 12 incarnations, which you aren't, this was just an example. So all of a sudden, even though you have done things that I'll be aware of, but I might still have to integrate and understand why you did these things. That's the difference. I might still have to understand, to accept that you've done certain things. That's true for everybody. It's not that you're a particularly dark person, and they were laughing. We already discussed this. You're going to have to do the same thing with Clea. Clea has done things in her existence that she, right now, she doesn't remember because they've happened in what we consider here past lives that she's going to have to integrate. You're going to have to integrate because you're going to be aware of them. But it wasn't you in that sense. You're not going to say, oh, Lorraine did this in a past life. And again, there is no past lives, but we're trying to clarify here. That's the difference. One thing is you having done certain things, say in a past life, but it was you, you feel, you think to yourself, yeah, but this was me. So what have I learned? You will feel the feelings of having gone through it, how you've outgrown that, what you learned from it. You're not going to be able to do this with other people's experiences. You're going to say, wow, Claire did this and that. All right, let me sit on that. What does that mean? How do I feel now? Do I accept it? Do I not accept it? That's the difference. No, they're scaring me. I'm like, what the hell have I done in my previous lives? I guess we'll find out. All right, Lorraine. Thank you. Okay, in regard to a light worker's other incarnations, since you said that everyone moves on and becomes the one when we all shed our bodies to go to New Earth, which personality will they be taking on? Since currently they have 12 different personalities acting and existing on Earth. Which one will be the dominant personality? A blend of all 12, or do the 12 incarnations all have similar personalities? Me. Yes, yes, and yes. So yes, they all have similar personalities. It really is. You're splitting your essence and you've learned what you've learned. And so yes, you will have very similar personalities. And we don't mean like, oh, one likes strawberries, so everybody has to like strawberries. We mean as in what matters, the way you think about things, the way that you move through things. And so in that sense, yes, but also yes to the fact that it is going to be a blend of all, because we do have different preferences as well. So it might be that one personality is more of an action taker, one personality is more meditative, and you're going to have a blend of the two. So yes, so both of those things. Lorraine, for the 12,000, that would be an interesting experience. Me, they were laughing. Yeah. Lorraine. When Clea, the person who used to be Clea, goes to visit her family and friends on the alien ships, who is she going as? Is she going to visit 11 other families? You've sort of answered this, but given the concept of the blended personalities, that would be interesting for the families as well. I can't imagine me laughing. They were laughing here. No, but at the end of the day, you will act towards them. So they're saying no to the part about so they're saying the person who used to be Clea goes to visit her family and friends on the alien ship. So is she going as? Is she going to visit 11 other families? or is she going as a blended, you know, in view of the blended personalities? So they're saying no, but at the end of the day, you will act towards them as you always acted towards them. Of course, you have all the increased understanding of being on your earth, etc. But you're going to feel the same way towards them. In fact, as I said, you're going to love them even more, because of course, at that point, we're going to have this understanding. We're all one. And so even more love. And they were laughing. But at the same time, no, you're not going to lose anything. You're not going to go there and you're going to go there and be excited. This is your mom. And then you're going to go see who is supposed to be the mom of somebody else. And you're going to realize this is also your mom, because you're going to be aware of exactly the history you've had with this other person, even though you weren't specifically focused on her as Clea in this particular lifetime. But you know, my other alter ego number 3, this was their mom. They love their mom, and therefore will know that, because alter ego number 3 is me. So it's almost like I have multiple moms. That's what it is. So yeah, you know, it's not going to be awkward. It's not going to be weird. The moms are not going to feel weird about it. They're going to see exactly their daughter, their son, or whatever it is. Now, that's more interesting. And they were laughing. Who are they going to see? Because Clea is still going to be a woman, but you see, basically, again, we all decided we're going to be a woman because Clea knows she's going to be a woman. So let me ask this actually. So are all my other 11 incarnations women? Are we all moving on as women? Ah, interesting. So they're telling me actually one is not, and they were laughing. It was probably me laughing. And so what happens now with this 12th one, when he goes to see, okay, and this was me, when I asked these questions, it was me, like I am under hypnosis, but I'm able to ask questions when something pops to mind. So they're telling me we're all gonna move on as one. I'm like, okay, so are all other 11 incarnations of me women? Because I know I'm gonna be a woman, look like a woman on the earth. And I already know what I'm gonna look like, what my name is gonna be like, you know, it's gonna be all of that. And I'm like, what if there's a man or multiple men in this group of 12? I'm like, how's that going to work when we go see their family? They're going to be like, oh, you used to be a man, you know. I don't know. So I was asking, so are all my other 11 incarnations women? Are we all moving on as women? Interesting. So they're telling me actually one is not. And so what happens now with this 12th one, when he goes to see his family? Okay, he doesn't. Okay, yeah. So this, of course, we're moving on as a woman. We're taking on the form of a woman. And this person actually doesn't have anybody that they're going to go there and say, oh, now you're a woman. So it's okay. Interesting. This is something we wanted to learn and wanted to experience. So this is an interesting one. Okay. So the point here is that we did have a male in this 12 split incarnation group. Because we wanted that experience, but this person is doesn't have anybody on alien planets. They're gonna be like, what? Why are you a woman? Why are you a woman now? And they might not recognize them. So because the 25th has also told us that even though all of us, this is true of everybody on the earth, when we go visit people on alien planets that we might have known here on this planet, we are going to, of course, look different, but we're going to be recognizable. We're not going to be completely different. We're not going to go there looking like an octopus or a tree or a cloud. So even though we might be, let's call it improved versions of ourselves, we're still going to be recognizable in a 3D way, but recognizable term. And so this explains that. So basically 11 of us in the group, so 10 of my other incarnations are also women, which makes sense. All right, Lorrayne, the interesting part is we aren't going to have a body and we're going to be projecting a body. So even if that aspect wanted to go visit friends, it would just project the body that it always had, me. Well, it could, but we've discussed before that we don't want to lie. We want to show ourselves the way that we are on New Earth. We choose to have a certain shape and form on New Earth. We don't have to have that form. We could become trees. We could look like trees if we wanted to. But we choose to have humanoid form because, again, we want New Earth to be very much like Earth. Even though we're going to have projected bodies, we're going to have crystalline, sparkly bodies, but we're still mostly going to look human, even though nothing is going to work the same inside our bodies. And so even though we might look different, we're not going to be completely unrecognizable to our loved ones. And so this is important for us. And so we don't want to lie. We don't want to be pure energy on new earth and then go to our loved ones, for example, and pretend that we still have the same bodies we had here. We're not going to do that. Can we do this? Of course we can, but we don't really want to do this. We don't want to lie. We don't want to pretend anymore. We are going to new earth to be free. Lorraine, well, I don't know, but I wanted to go to New York to experience and play. So maybe I'll have a room where I just go try on different shapes. Me, I think it's awesome. Lorraine, because that sounds like fun to me. Me, that is awesome. And you will enjoy it. And many will experiment, but most people will. There will be some people who will experiment with different forms all the time. But the vast majority of people want to be humanoid, want to resemble their old selves. Of course, we're going to improve ourselves in terms of what we consider to be an improvement from a physical perspective. And for example, the lack of aging and all these things. I know Clea wants to be taller, and they were laughing. They're laughing because they don't understand what it is to be vertically challenged on this planet. But it's not, most of us are going to resemble who we were. We're not necessarily going to change completely where you would have, you would look like an octopus all of a sudden and have 8 arms and all of that and a big head or whatever it is. We can play with it, but it's not the form that you would take on every day. In the beginning, we'll do all kinds of stuff because we're going to go crazy. We want to try everything. But in general, humans are going to be known as human, as being human, as looking human. Lorraine, I can see that that would benefit over time. And certainly, I think it would be more comfortable going and projecting who I know myself to be here, because that would just be comfort. But I do look forward to playing with different forms. So I'll just create myself a room. And she was laughing, and they were laughing with her. And they're like, yes. Lorraine, okay. Why let us know about the 25th now instead of waiting to spread this information in the multiverse until we're on New Earth, where we will be living proof of its reality? Me, yes, so we have already answered this, but basically the reason is, well, there are multiple reasons. One, again, there were people that needed to know how to get to New Earth. They weren't quite sure how this would work out. And so the information was, we decided to spread the information. We had decided this when it was time, as part of the takedown, that we're going to let these people know. For example, let them know about the tunnel. This is information we spread through these messages, but there's been more. There are codes. We discussed there are codes in these messages. Another reason has been because we have started by spreading this information. We have started doing the work that we'll be doing. Some of the work we'll be doing on New Earth. So therefore, we get there, instead of getting there and starting from scratch, we start already, we already have done some of the work. So we're able to move forward faster. And also because very simply, it's given people who are seeking, it's giving us something to do, something to think about. There are people like Clea who have been very, very bored. And we have already said this. She was very, very bored until we started connecting with her in August of last year. And this has made a huge difference to the quality of her life and to the way she's been able to accelerate her breakthroughs this year. And there are other people, just like Clea, who have found themselves in this situation. So it has been value adding to spread this information in advance of going to New York, as opposed to just waiting. Lorraine. Thank you. So Claire would like to know, why are humans so similar among themselves when animals come in such a huge variety of shapes, sizes, etc.? And there are species that go extinct because essences are no longer interested in that experience, while humans never go extinct. Me. Because animals are just interested in a different experience. Humans are very enthralled with the concept of humanity. Animals are not as They don't identify as much as we do one way of being, with one look. They want to change. This is their experience. They want to hop among different shapes and forms. We think of animals as being one group, but really, truly, there are so many different essences there. And they do have access to many more iterations. For them, it's fun. Keep in mind, they don't have amnesia. So they have they do run the risk of becoming very bored very quickly. That's why in general, animals live less than we do. They go through things much faster. For humans, no, we just want to experience this thing over and over. Now, some of us, of course, we have the choice and we do go places where we don't have to embody, or we might, after a certain number of lives, or even after one life as an embodied human, go someplace where we got to be a star, or we got to just be pure energy on a planet, or we got to be a rock somewhere, and that's perfectly fine. But generally speaking, essences that embody inside humans have so much fun with it. And we're laughing here because there are so many things you can do, including being a sleeper. I mean, that's super fun. Being an atheist, that's super fun. These are not things animals can do. Animals know exactly what's going on, and they can't pretend that there is no God. Whereas here we can spend, 100 years in a lifetime pretending there is no God. We can come back and do it again and again and again, try something new. We just have a different gamut of choices available as humans, so we don't have to change all the time. That's pretty much it. It's just a different type of experience. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.